Hello and welcome to Amateur Fix It. Today's project is the Monster Mix Boombox made by Gemmy. That's Gemmy. I picked this up while thrifting. I paid, say, $4. So first off, I have to say it was just caught my eye. It just looks pretty cool. And but again, I said I went thrifting, and when you're thrifting 101, any electronics, you look for batteries, and if you go for batteries, you look to see what you have. And this guy is a pretty rough shape. So I'll take these out and show you. It's a lot of rust. And kind of concerned with rust because that means moisture, not just the battery acid corroding the springs. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take it apart and see if I can resurrect the Monster Boombox. For today's episode, we're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver. And I bought some of this stuff called Evaporust. I've been looking at it online. It's a biodegradable, doesn't smell. Says you can actually, after you use it, you can strain it and put it back in so it's reusable. So I'm just wanted to give it a shot and try it out. So basically how it works is you pour it into a container, you drop your rusted parts into it, let it sit overnight, and supposedly the rust will come off. There's no scrubbing or anything needed, and it's supposed to bring them back to new. So we're going to give that a whirl. All right. Basically on this model, we're going to have, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like we got 10 screws we're going to remove and see if we can get this apart. What I'd like to do is be able to get the battery, the springs, and the contacts out, put them in that liquid, let them sit, and hopefully we can get this back and running again. It looks like it'll be pretty neat once we can get it repaired. And it looks like I can't count, so there's actually 11 screws that we'll remove. So let's turn this over gently and see if I can get them out. So got 9. Okay. All right. Go ahead and there they are. Okay. So overall, I was afraid I was going to see a lot more rust inside the unit, but it looks pretty good. So it looks like there's a couple. Looks like I see a little prong here, and I see one right here. See if I can bend those up a little bit. If we can get this out. Actually, I'm going to take out these 2 screws here. Because it does look like I am going to have to desolder the power. So I'm going to have to desolder a couple of those wires. Alright, so it does look like we also have, a fuse there. All right, let me get the soldering iron heated up And let's see if we can get those removed. Okay. My black back here, red right there. So guarantee I'll forget that. All right, so now we're going to plop these up. Flip this over, and hopefully these will come straight out now. Pretty easily. I think that one's out. There's the first one. Okay, second piece. All right. Let's see if we can get it to move this time. All right, sheesh. All right, so that's our other piece here. It's pretty rusted. I don't know if we're going to be able to save these, but I could buy new ones, but I would like to try to reuse these if I could. While we're in here, let's kind of knock some of the dust off. Kind of cleaned up a little bit. Pretty disgusting in here with that rust. So that. Get that cleaned back off. And gross. Gross, gross, gross. All right, so overall not too bad. I did have a little bit of a burn mark with the iron, so should have been a little more careful right there, but doesn't look like it damaged anything. So all right, let's set that aside. So here's our liquid. Like I said, we're gonna zoom out here, see how this stuff works. Okay, I'll go ahead and set them in there. As you see, I have a little bit of rust in this container anyway, because that's where I had some screws in there. All right, pour this in there. It's saying that basically this has to go over the top. Close this up. Okay, so at this time, I'm gonna go ahead and let this set overnight. And when we come back, we'll see what they look like. Hello, welcome back. This is the next day. And here's our parts. Let's go ahead and get them out of here. Actually, I was going to pull them out with my hands. These were in pretty good shape originally. They weren't too bad. So the rust is off of these. They are black. I guess it did turn the metal black. So I'm going to see if these will work. But they did get the rust off. Nice and clean. Okay. So now we're going to start to reassemble the unit and see if we get it working. Alright, took those out and dried them up. I am going to spray a little bit deoxit on them just to hopefully keep them from re-rusting. This guy here is pretty bad shape, so I'm kind of concerned with this one. Try to zoom in on that, but he's got quite a bit of, it looks like rust, but it's actually not. It's just, will turn the metal black. Okay, so let's start reassembling. Let's get okay, let's start reassembling the boombox and give it a test. It may sound like common sense, but the negative terminal needs to have the spring. All right, make sure all of them are through. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, we got them all through here. Okay. Okay, now we're going to need to resolder the wiring. I knew I was going to forget, so I had to go back and review it. But so the black is at the top, and the red is going to be wired here at the bottom. So this tab is going to get bent over and this one's going to get bent over. Bend them down so we can get a little flat area so we can put some solder on. So I need some flux and some solder, and I'm heating the iron up right now. I'm going to talk a little bit loud, but how this is set up is we're going to actually solder this piece onto the post, and then this one it had it glued down, so it actually wasn't touching. I had to go in and review it to see what was going on. Alright, so that's back together. Let's go ahead and screw this top piece back on. Alright, let's go ahead and get the back reattached. I'm excited about putting some batteries in and see if this works. Oh, it's awesome!
Were treated for minor injuries tonight after the... Hi, folks. Mort Morton from Morton's Mortuary. We know how to treat the deceased, because at Mort's... And now, Creepy Sports with creepy sports guy Phil Beckman. You know there's just no creepier sport going right now than Monster...
This is awesome. Awesome. The monster has been brought back to life. do this upright.
Ready in our costumes, up and down the street, we're gonna trick or treat.
All right, that was pretty awesome. It is back. He's alive again. The Monster Boombox. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, and thank you until next time.